And Helen, if you can let people in whilst I'm chatting, because I'm
Yeah.
going to put my notes up on the screen, which means I won't be able to see any of your lovely faces, unfortunately. She says unable to get notes up. There we go. So hi everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kimba and I am a gamification consultant. So gamification, for those of you who don't know, I don't know how you've got to this point having watched these videos. For those of you who don't know, it's taking tools and techniques from games, so board games, sports, video games, all that kind of stuff, things that you might see and have experienced from this series. So things like novelty, things like rewards and punishments, things like badges, certificates, leaderboards, all that kind of stuff, and putting them into non-game settings. So I specialize in marketing, online memberships, online courses, online launches, social media. That's kind of my realm of expertise. And now it's time for the mummy to introduce herself.
Well, I'm Helen. As you can see, you can clearly see. It could be somebody else. It could be the dog. I am the complaining cow, in case you didn't know, and I'm a consumer expert, consumer champion, blogger, best-selling author, journalist, consultant, and speaker. So you might see me in the media. Sorry about that. Turn television on and go, oh, sorry, but they pay me. And you might hear me on the radio. Sorry, you hear my voice, but again, they pay me. So that's why I do it. And yes, I do lots of bits and pieces, really. So that's what I do. and apparently I do some silly videos quite often. I have done that for many years, actually, but it sort of culminated, I think, this week.
So let's explain the videos a little bit. That's what you're all here for.
Yeah.
Like where this came from and what the point of it was. And we are also going to talk about some lessons learned, and we're going to talk about some of you guys who very kindly took part as well. So this all started because Helen very kindly had donated some prizes to my festive virtual networking, including, and I'm going to do some promotion for you, even if you won't do it yourself, including this book here, How to Get Some Free PR, which is a really good book that you should look into, and her other two books as well, which are, Helen?
How to Complain. There we go. How to Complain, the Essential Consumer Guide to Getting Refunds, Redress and Results. So that's got loads of information, advice and tips and 60 odd templates in there. Always makes me wonder about people who download templates from my site. You can also download templates, but there's 60 of them in here. So why would you? Anyway, people do that, but get the book. And 101 Habits of an Effective Complainer, which Paul Lewis has done the forward for, and Rob Rinder's done a very nice review, and Matt Allwright and People, and then the PR book. So that's 3, and they're all bestsellers, all reached #1. So there.
So Helen had offered signed copies of all of these books for my event. We were talking about the prizes, and we were talking about my membership and the fact that there's a book recommendations part in my membership. And Helen suggested that she sended me a book to review so that I could then share it in my membership, promote it to my members, and it would be kind of like a reciprocal nice thing to do. And at the same time, she said that James Ball, who does cybersecurity stuff, should send me a copy of his book to review. And so I messaged James and I said, Helen's basically giving your things away for free. Did you know about this? And James said, oh, she's always on the sell, meaning like she's always selling other people. So I said to Helen that that's what James had said, and she was like, oh well, actually I'm really good at selling other people, but not so good at selling my own stuff. So some of you may or may not know that Helen interviewed me on her podcast a while back, earlier this year. We talked all about gamification, and we talked about different motivators, things that motivate you, because that's what gamification is really. It's a motivational tool motivating you or your students or members or whatever to get something done. And we were talking about the fact that for some people, like when I was doing my bike ride, my 50-mile bike ride, I was motivated by I simply motivated myself by the promise of a hot chocolate at the next break stop. And Helen was like, I wouldn't be motivated by chocolate because I can have chocolate whenever I want. So like a reward of chocolate is just nonsense.
Like, just because I've got a bloody bandage on because my head is broken and I still haven't done a sales post, do I care? No, because I can eat chocolate whenever I like. See, look, done it.
But we discussed the fact that I'd heard of like various punishment ideas over the years that might work better. Like some people work better to a deadline, right? And one of the ones I'd heard, I think it was on the Freakonomics podcast, was somebody who really didn't like, I think it was Oprah, wanted to do something consistently for 30 days. I don't know, remember what it was. Let's say lose weight or whatever, or I don't know, not eat hamburgers, right? So they gave a check to their friend for a huge sum of money to this person that they didn't like and said, if I don't do this thing consistently over the next 30 days, you have to post it out to them. And I was like, that sounds like something that would motivate me more than the offer of a piece of chocolate. So when we were having this discussion about the fact that she'd not done sales posts, and I thought, well, I can challenge her. I knew a reward wasn't going to work for Helen. So I suggested that we do a punishment or a consequence instead, which as a joke at the time was, oh, I'll tell everybody online about what you've done. She was like, that makes me want to not post even more because Helen is Helen. So we were like, well, maybe we can do something with this. So that's where the series was born from, a silly conversation between us about the fact that I know her quite well, just from this podcast in terms of her motivations, not generally speaking, and that she would respond better to a consequence. So there was no real plan other than I would explain about gamification and talk to my audience about Helen, but only enough to intrigue them to go and have a look at her website. And Helen would talk about me to her audience, but only in a joking, responsive way to my videos. We wanted it to be a funny, light-hearted series, and I'm going to show you one of them now because I'm sure some of you have probably seen some of them, but probably haven't seen them all. I'm not going to show you them all today because that would take forever. You can just go and look for the Sell Helen Sell hashtag to find it. That was hard for me to say, wasn't it? Helen, I can see you. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see the video? It's not started yet. Okay, that'll do. It's not a thumb, but I'll take it.
Not as annoyed as me. Just burnt my mouth.
Helen, if you're watching this video is not for you. Scroll on. For everyone else, this is what happened. Helen and I were having a little chat about how great she is, about telling the world what other people sell and promoting other people. And while she's great at giving value on her socials and telling people lots of tips,
I know a lot of stuff and I impart it.
She doesn't ever say how you can actually work with her and buy from her.
The details are on my website, link in bio.
As a gamification consultant, what I do is gamify people to take action on things that they might not be naturally motivated to do. And so I thought, I will set her a challenge. Now, something I bang on about all the time is how in gamification you need to understand your audience so that you can gamify them properly. And I know Helen's not going to respond well to a reward. So I thought she's going to respond a bit better to a consequence or a punishment. So I said, I'm going to go exercise, I'm going to have my lunch, and by the time I get back, I expect there to be a post on social media about how people can buy from you. Well, as you can see from the fact that my hair's still a bit wet, I have come back from exercising and showering and then having lunch, and there is no post, Helen. So here I am, as promised, publicly shaming you for not following through with the game, with your end of the bargain.
Do I look like I care? Do I?
Now, you might think this is bullying, public shaming. Shaming is bullying.
Yes.
Another gamification thing I talk about all the time is making sure you get consent from the person who is taking part to be gamified. So Helen has given her consent. She knew I was going to publicly shame her and she decided to take this action regardless. We are business buddies. This is friendly bullying. Don't you wish you had a friend like me?
Guess what? No, I don't.
So I don't want you to tell me how you can buy from her. I don't want you to go to her website and check it out because I'm too lazy to go and check that out, which means audiences are as well. The whole point of this is to encourage her to do a post about it. So please, do 2 things for me, or one of 2. You don't have to do them both.
That will be 1 or 2 things, would it?
The first one is go and pester her on whatever platform you're watching this on, because I'm going to publicly shame her in as many places as I can think of. Go and pester her in the comments of her posts.
And I will pester you back.
to do a post about how you can buy from her. And the second thing I would love you to do is to help me come up with ideas of how else we can punish her if she continues to not tell us how you can buy her stuff on socials.
Ideas. Well, how about you just send the Prosecco, because I really hate that stuff.
Very simple. Public bullying. That's enough from me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, Game Changers. Noise.
Oh gosh, please stop. I've watched these so many times now, because every time I go to the comments they replay, I'm like, oh, please stop, enough of that. Okay, so what we didn't anticipate at all when we planned this, I mean, plan is a loose term, when we started this, we did not expect it to
very loose. We thought one video.
Yeah, one, maybe two max. It escalated. Some of you here today and some that are watching on the replay shared their own videos, commented on both of our videos, on all of our videos, shared them, went onto Helen's profile and commented on her other videos. Oh my gosh, some of you might have seen all of the videos or just some of them. We hope that some of them made you laugh, but as Helen said in one of her later videos, we don't sell a sense of humor, so if you didn't get it, unfortunate. So I'm going to talk a bit about leaderboards, and then we're going to get into lessons learned. So we said we'd share a leaderboard. I did a video on Thursday saying we'd share about a leaderboard, and in that video I talked about all the people that were in the leaderboard, and I kind of talked about them in the position that I thought they would be in, and honestly that positioning hasn't changed. The top people that have contributed to the Sell Helen Sell campaign are the same, and so what I'm going to do is firstly say a huge thanks to everyone who has commented, shared, created posts and videos. And for the top three, we have got, I'm going to have to get this up on the screen now. Give me a sec. We have got something for the top three. Having too many things to share. Let's try that. You need the audience window, and you need to be able to see it. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? There we go. So the first person, I think this person shared something within 10 minutes of the first video going out. So we want to give a certificate, an award to the lovely Sam, who is with us today. That sounds like she's died, or she's like, that's not what I mean. For being the biggest cheerleader, for getting involved straight away, for doing, I don't even know how many, Sam, how many videos did you do? You did so many videos.
I can't, I think I did 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure you didn't do 4, because I think we decided on this when you'd done 3, and then I think you did another.
I probably, I think I did one showing Helen how to do it. I did the one initially telling her off. I did another one. Yeah, I think you're right.
They were all telling me off, Sam. They were all telling me off.
I think the last one was the best one. Like, I think I've got a really good journalistic voice when I really want to.
saying about her walking around a field, so good. So good. Like, oh, amazing.
Branding, that's what branding does for you, you see. I think of Helen, I think of a field.
I've got the picture of me with them years ago from when I started doing stuff in the media, and I've put an expert in her field, so that is already in the branding, so it worked really well.
Brilliant. Thank you for the award.
Yes, you get the award. I will send you the certificate afterwards. So yeah, making numerous videos, supporting the campaign, commenting on posts, and demonstrating how to do a good sales post, but like in Helen's voice, which is just top. Like, oh yeah, we were both very, very pleased that you got involved. So thank you. Maddie, next up, we can't not give Maddie an award, creativity award for contribution to the Sell Helen Sell campaign, with the creative idea of that, like, what does Helen actually sell? Like, is it OnlyFans? Is it, what were the things, like grief? Professional mourner.
Professional mourner, professional mermaid. There was I'm still not convinced. Like, we should have said that she was a professional chocolate taster, because I feel like that's become evident today, and I don't know how we missed that one, to be honest. Yeah, there were some other very weird ones.
We went for Scarecrow. You went for Scarecrow at the end, and I went, "Oh,
Scarecrow.
scary more than
Yeah,
than
I
crows."
feel like Scarecrow is still a viable choice.
Yep.
And also my creativity with coming up with the hashtag sell Helen sell. I mean, that was a no-brainer.
Oh, I didn't actually include that on here, but you 100% did come up with that.
I did. I'm taking credit for the hashtag.
I will edit the certificate before I send it over, so you can claim the hashtag 100%. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna copyright. I think I'm gonna trademark it. Yeah.
Oh God, don't come after us for using our own campaign, for God's sake.
Well, I mean, that could be good blackmail for there not being a sales place.
So there's a whole new series coming. Oh, so many in jokes and so many to be so difficult not to swear in.
And actually, I got told at one point throughout this campaign that my membership was clicky because there were too many in jokes.
And they hadn't even started on this.
No, hilarious. But thank you.
Yes, so
I'm honoured to accept.
We would like to award you with this certificate, and I will adapt it before I send it over, but also with sharing it with your members and getting them to get involved as well. So thank you very much. And I don't think Victoria has made it unless no,
I haven't let her in. I've let a couple of people in, but not Victoria.
She'll be at work.
Before that, I put this slide in on purpose to remind me to show the video. I have another video to show you. So you guys natter on for a second whilst I get the next one up. If you'd be so kind, because it will take me a second to load the next video up. What award do you think we gave to Victoria whilst I'm loading this?
Victoria Dio, not Victoria Massey.
Not Massey.
Oh, okay. Best punishment?
Maybe.
Maddie gets another award.
Yeah. Right.
I would like to accept this on Victoria's behalf.
She did indeed come up with the best punishment.
Right. Hopefully this is now showing for you all. Let's do it.
Let's have a guess at which one of these Helen Dewdney actually does.
The chat GTP thinks that these would be good jobs for me, does it?
Renting out your face.
What do you think?
Selling pictures of feet.
Stick my foot right up your arse.
Being a professional cuddler. Line sitting. This is where you like sit in a queue or a line and wait for something on behalf of somebody else.
Who in the hell does that?
It's acting now. I do know she does this for children's books.
Once upon a time, there were 3 little girls, and Kimba said, "I'm going to start a really good game," because that's what she does, and it was all to make me sell stuff. And Maddie got involved, and she came up, "Yes, let's try and find out what Helen does." And then Sam joins in. Anyway, she went and got one of these. She thinks she's going to get me back with one of these.
Professional mermaid.
Do I look like a mermaid? Can't even swim.
Virtual mourner. Like someone who turns up at funerals to mourn on your behalf.
Yeah, I do that. Because you can get into character and start fights.
Dog poop scooper?
I don't think I need to go around picking up dog poo, because we all know that there's enough poo all around here, isn't there? Not looking at anybody in particular, Maddie.
Professional scarecrow. That's it. Got it.
It wouldn't be the crows that I was scaring.
Let's have a guess.
No, stop.
I also feel like I need an award for the amount of time it took me to edit that fucking video.
Oh, and then the hours that I did doing it with the replies, it was a fucking nightmare. It wasn't that was partly TikTok's fault for changing their settings, wasn't it? Because you used to be able to download it without the watermark. So we were trying to do it between us and we couldn't because of the bloody watermark.
It was literally like Helen was like, "Oh, I can't do it. You can do it really quickly." I was like, "Yeah, of course I can. Yeah, I'm a TikTok person. I can totally do this really quickly." Nope. 3 hours later, I'm like, "Fuck."
Okay, yeah, and then it was back up and But we hope it was worth it.
I apparently don't have a job or a life, you know.
Yeah.
But neither will either of you.
Sleep. I don't feel the
either.
need to sleep.
At this point, I think like we both spent so much time, like, well, and a lot of you as well spent so much time on this, and we're just like, let's hope this turns into something. It was a lot of fun, if nothing else. Okay, and let me get the final award up before I move on to the next. We move on to the next part. So as we've already mentioned, Victoria, Dio, and Maddie got it right. So the Creative Consequences Award for thinking up the most suitable punishment idea to motivate Helen to take action and create a sales post. Now, I'm gonna, I think we need to talk about this a little bit because the punishments, we got so many different punishments, and lots of them were things that Helen just was like, I'm just not going to do them. Like, I'm just not going to do that thing. Like, if she doesn't do the sales post, then we make her, I don't know, walk down the street naked. She's like, I'm just not going to do it. Like, they're not punishments because you can't force me to do X, Y, and Z, which is why we liked Victoria's so much, because it was compliment Helen everywhere. She cannot escape it. She cannot run away from this. Like, even yeah, exactly. Even when I complimented her genuinely in a meeting that we had yesterday, she gave me the V's. So like,
we love you, Helen.
I'm that generous, Kimber. I'm more generous with you. You get more than one.
Yeah, so like we know that lots more of you created videos and did all commenting and all that. So thank you to everybody who took part. I'm not going to go through everybody now. On one of my previous videos, I named a bunch of you, but there's just way too many of you. So I think we've got through all of that bit. So now I'm going to pass over to Helen for the lessons learned, I think.
Right. I feel like I might take this off now.
Yeah.
No, you are not allowed.
There, look, head mended. Nothing else mended. Oh, right, so that's a little bit easier. Sorry, that's probably more frightening, but I can still have my broken finger. Yeah, there were quite a lot of lessons, really, which we did not plan at all. Somebody said, I've got to come to this and see if you've just completely lost the plot. And it did make me laugh because I just thought there was no plot. There was no plot to lose. If we had one, we lost it long ago. But I think the first thing that came from it really is that you've got to have fun in business. I think particularly when you work on your own, and yeah, you can do stuff online and you can talk to people, you can do this kind of stuff, but you've just got to have that fun, because you don't have the one thing you do have when you go into the office and you in the corporate world or whatever, you still have all those meetings by the coffee machine or the kettle or whatever, and you have that laugh and the gossip and that kind of stuff. And I think this showed us that we could have a lot of fun, and that's where the best ideas come from, because all the ideas that grew from this, we did not have an idea about at all. It literally just came from, let's just do one video and see what happens. But I think we had to have fun, and I hope that people had fun. Did you have fun watching the videos? I hope you did. Take yourself off mute and tell us what your favourite one was. It doesn't have to be one of mine. It doesn't have to be one of Kimber's. You shouldn't say your own, obviously, but you can.
Sam's, yeah, definitely the Sam's one where she did your voice. That was fucking hilarious.
Anybody else find anything particularly funny? Hopefully you find them funny, otherwise what was the bloody point?
That was
a lot of work.
You heading off with the mallet and driving off to get people.
Yes, that was a good one.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, the easiest and quickest TikTok ever to do. 15 seconds. No, hardly any editing. No, there's no editing. Captions of 5 seconds. Yeah, and that was a really popular video.
I really liked your video with the little snippets of you creeping around your house with the mallet and the balaclava and the camouflage, it was just clip after clip after clip.
That was funny.
And then that lovely little bit at the end where you say you're just going off for a wee. I love that little bit of humour at the end of a video. It's just like the icing on the cake. It just brings you back down again. So I loved how everyone was really creative with their reels, and so it just goes to show as well, sometimes you don't know what you're going to do. Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do until I start recording. I didn't know I was going to pretend to be Helen until I started recording. And it just came into my mind. I thought, oh my God, I'll try and speak like Helen. That will make it even funnier. So it just shows that creativity can just come in the spur of the moment, and just do it and try it and see what happens. That's how I work. That's my method.
But yeah, I think that was a lot of people's favourite one because it was just ridiculous. I think Kimba particularly liked it. When you came out of that camouflage, I said, yeah, really, I should have done it outside.
Bit, like the balaclava bit, you just arrive on screen, you're like little.
Hello. But I wanted to do outside, but it was bloody cold. I wasn't going to go out there. I wasn't the slightest bit worried about the neighbours seeing or anything like that. I just thought it's too cold. It's too cold to do it outside. So it would have worked better, I'm sure, outside. And then it would have been more of a surprise to come out from behind a bush or something. But yeah, it was.
I've got that video if we want to watch it.
Go on then, bung it up.
Yeah.
Last one we put. Oh no, it's not quite the last one.
There's another one if people want to in a bit.
Just in case people didn't see this one.
Yeah, because this one it's my favourite. I don't know, actually. I think maybe Sam's is also one of my favourites. It's hard to tell, isn't it? Just like there's so much craziness. Right, share video. Go.
Enjoying Christmas. I could be anywhere, my man. I could be anywhere. Yes. You may be ready with your plan, but I could be anywhere.
I didn't restart this time. That's good. Right, good.
Yeah, I don't. Somebody just put that the music was spot on. I think you need to be of a certain age, but the music, because it was suggested. I didn't go finding it. It was suggested. It was that everyone's a fruit and nut cake. Tchaikovsky's, whatever it is, Reed, whatever. But yeah, everyone's a fruit and nut cake. And I thought, well, some people will find that funny. I just thought, well, that's TikTok being quite clever, isn't it? Just suggesting that music. But I think the second lesson really for us was I think we sort of know, but to expect the unexpected, because we just did not expect so many people to join in. We didn't expect Maddie to tell people in a membership, then that got other people involved. We didn't expect people to do half a dozen videos. We didn't expect to get a hashtag. We didn't expect, to be suggesting that I make my money from OnlyFans. And then, so that kind of thing.
Targeted at me. I feel like that's a personal attack, Helen.
we didn't expect this stuff, but we laughed because behind the scenes, Kimba and I were obviously talking a lot. We're talking, have you seen this one? Have you seen this comment? Have you seen this video? This is hilarious. But it did make us laugh, but it did, expect the unexpected. And I think Kimba's one was brilliant because she messaged me to say, somebody's just said they're going to tell your brother. That's the punishment. And I'm like, there's hardly anybody on there that knows my brother. My brother isn't active on Facebook. I'm thinking, it's got to be one of my cousins. It's got to be Trisha. And it was somebody I hadn't a clue, didn't know. It was just coincidence that somebody knows my brother and knows Kimba and just said, I'm going to tell her brother on her. And so, it's those kind of things. The small link, small world. But we just thought that was just a little bit amusing. But it was about expecting the unexpected. And I think the other one was, if you are novel and you are unique, it does set you apart from other people. It really does. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But, we certainly saw a lot of trolls, which I think I'm probably more experienced over the years of trolls than Kimba probably is. And so it's probably where I was a few years ago, thinking you do take things personally. Well, I'm too old now and I've been doing this for too many years not to. I now know don't take it personally, although it's very hard. But I would say to people, if you're just starting out and doing this, and you're just starting out on social media, that you're becoming popular when you get the trolls, when you get those comments. Then you're getting the engagement. And and people troll for a variety of reasons. I was told years ago just to always picture a sad, middle-class man, lonely man in his bedsit, pretending to be all these other people. And in fact, one of my first trolls actually knew who it was, and he fitted that criteria, so bizarrely. So yeah, I think just, you know, you have got to be aware of that if you want to be popular on social media and you want to go viral, and particularly want to go viral regularly, then you're going to get the trolls all the time. I was very much a believer in ignore the trolls, and that's very much easy to do on Twitter. Block, you forget. But on like Instagram and TikTok, Maddie was very strong. Well, no, just engage with them, not necessarily engage with them, but use them. And so I now take their comments. I took one, not to do with this series, but I took one, about 2 months ago, where someone had made a comment about the fact that I'd taken to Tesco to court years ago and won, and they were saying that I was stupid for going to court or wasting my time or whatever. And somebody had made a comment, well, you're not going to get a meal deal, mate, was to that effect. And I used that comment, and that got a few thousand in the first couple of weeks. Then it went quiet, and then 2 months later, it's now at 775 or something like that K views. So it is a case of, I think, when you get all those trolls, just use them, but you don't necessarily have to reply to them. It's just about, just don't take it personally. And being novel and unique, like when Kimba did her video in the face pack, I don't think she was expecting to do that, but just did it. I think you've got that video there, Kimba.
I do, yes, I do. Yeah, look it up.
The doorbell has just gone, as you can see. A little bit busy, but I wasn't expecting a parcel, and then I remembered that Helen Dewdney had asked for my address, and so I thought I'm probably going to have to open this one on video, so why not do it with my face mask on? Okay, so let's see what we have got here. Have a look. It's Helen's book. Oh, this is exciting. And it's got a quote on it from Roberinda. Helen Dewdney writes with fearless clarity, and she's done it again. This is amazing. And it's signed. Thank you, Helen. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm looking forward to reading this. Oh, wait. You are clever. You're very clever. Okay, either you're very clever or this is particularly good timing. So some of you will know that if you've been watching our reels, the Sell Helen Sell series, Helen and I are friends. We were talking about how she's really, really good at selling other people, but not so good at selling her own stuff. She really admits this. And so we agreed to a little challenge. I challenged her to do a sales post about what she sells. And she has been absolutely incredible at avoiding doing this, as you can probably see from the series. And I think that this is maybe a tactic to try and get me to sell for her. Either she's being very kind and just sending me a book and the timing is immaculate, or this is her trying to cheat the system. So either way, this is a good opportunity for me to tell you about cheating the system. So this is a little game between us that we're having a bit of fun. It's got a little bit out of hand. The comments have got a bit out of hand, but it is a bit of fun. It's a bit of a game. And in gamification, which is what I do, we always talk about what the possibilities are to cheat the system, because there are always ways to cheat the system, and it's human nature to try and find the quickest route, the easiest route to complete something, to meet an objective, which means that when you're building gamification into whatever it is you're doing, your business, your marketing, whatever, you need to be aware that people might cheat the system. And what often happens is something like this, where somebody cheats in a way that you couldn't have predicted. Yeah. So my mask is slipping. This is hilarious. I can't believe that this is probably going to go online. Never mind. Helen, go and do your sales post already, you silly sausage. You're such a cheeky monkey. I'm looking forward to reading your book. Thanks for sending it.
The novelty thing in that instance, like novelty is a core gamification technique. is not just to be novel and different from other people, but also to try and be novel to what you always do yourself. So like one of the reasons that so many people saw this series from both of us is because we were doing something that neither of us would normally do. Like nobody ever sees me say horrible things about other people online. So people were like, what is this? Is it real? Like my accountant said to me, I was so glad that wasn't me. Like I was so glad that I wasn't her. I was like, you've known me for years. Can't you tell it's a joke? Like it's obviously a joke. But like the whole point is like, if you're finding that your views are down, your engagement's down, all these things, can you do something that is novel and unique and different from what people expect from you to bring things back up?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what I did was different because I do stupid things all the time. So I think actually possibly what I do is different is what was different and I have not done before is I haven't done the reply things. So the one that I did with Kimba and the one that I did with Maddie, which is why it took forever to work it all out. But it's like anything, once you've learned how to do it, you know, it'll become quicker and the more you do it. But I hadn't done that before, and I think I might do that. Sam Barefoot is the absolute genius of this. When she does replies to videos, they're extremely funny. I find them very funny. I know lots of people don't, but it's very much my humour. And she also does it very quickly because she does them a lot. She does them nearly every day. But for me, that was new for me. So people were seeing that. And in fact, the first one I think was the most watched on Instagram, and the one with Maddie was watched quite a lot, I think. So I'm glad that, you know, there's something that I did for the first time didn't flop. But even if it had flopped, I think then you still learn and you move on. And I also think there's a case there, although it's novel, it's also about being real. We do put face masks on. We do have to answer the door. We do have to answer the door when the dog's barking. We do have to do those things. And it's just keeping us real. Like when I do lives, I always do my videos in the morning when I'm walking the dog. I do lives. I used to do ranty reels years ago on Instagram. And people always say to me, keeping it real. It's, you know, I'm picking up the dog shit while I'm walking around with the dog. You know, I'm having conversations with people. I think it's, and then people identify with you. So I think if you are like, oh, well, you know, she hasn't just redone it because she had a face mask on. She opened the door in it. She's real. She's one of us. But on that note, that marketing, it isn't just about attracting the people you want. I think you've probably heard it before. It's about repelling the people you don't want. And we both got lots of, wouldn't want to work with her. Don't want to work with you. Funny. We don't want to work with you. You have no sense of humor. You know, if there's somebody's got no sense of humor, they don't get your humor, why would you want to work with them? It would be such hard work. Imagine not ever laughing when you're working with somebody. That's horrendous. So yeah, buy my book. Buy my book. But am I giving you a power hour? No, I'm bloody not. Just you have the difficulty with courage. You have the difficulty getting your thousands of pounds books, because if I can't have a laugh with you, then, you know, it's hard. And we had a lot of conversations most days, Kimber and I going, do you know this person? Do you know that person? Do you know? Yeah, that one. Yeah, I don't really get that. Don't really understand that one. And I had one about, you look like you've got a face that could punch Santa's beard off. And again, going back to the previous thing about, I used it, so it was like a trolls comment, and I said, and I can't remember what I did, what video I did, so I used it, that got thousands of views. But I found it really, really odd because she'd also done these complimentary ones, and she's been a follower of mine for a while. And I was like, why is she telling me I've got a face that could punch off Santa? And I couldn't get it. So when I did it as a reply reel to her on Instagram, she came back with that it wasn't an insult. It was to do with some video that went viral a few years ago where a child had been told by Father Christmas in a shop or garden centre or somewhere. Father Christmas had told him he'd been naughty and he couldn't get his toy. And he told his dad to knock Father Christmas's beard off. And apparently everyone was meant to know this story. Apparently it went viral. Apparently it was really funny. And it was meant to be that. Well, my first thought was, well, what spoiled, self-entitled little child? But not, oh, how cute, how funny. That wasn't my, but that shows you where we all are in different sort of sense of humour. So that's a mixture, I think, of all of those things about expect the unexpected and not always just take things at face value. Because I didn't get it. But whether I'd want to work with somebody who had that kind of sense of humour, I don't know. But we did. Kimber and I did have those conversations quite a lot, didn't we? But
several times a day. Who is this person? Why have they written this weird thing? Why are they being so horrible?
Well, yeah, and then one of my cousins was really horrible to Kimba, and I went and messaged her privately and went, "Oi, it's a lot." And then other people went in on her, and I thought, "You've been told," and she still carried on. You've been told. Would I want to work with her? No, can't choose your family. But you know, there are going to be people that you're not going to work with, and so when we were reaching thousands and thousands of people, we knew that we were going to get some. Well, we didn't know. That's the thing. We didn't know we were going to get horrible comments because we didn't know we were going to reach all these people. But now we were. If we're now going to do, if we do a second series of of anything about trademarking and taking somebody to court and all of that, if we did that second series, we might have to be more prepared. Whether I could go in my camouflage or with my mallet into the small claims court, I don't know. But there will always be people. I mean, when I was Part 4N, you do a 15-minute presentation, sort of lessons for people to take away. And I used to do lots of Joyce Grenfell type nursery things and involve people. So I do a lot of improvisation. So I would improvise, get people's business in and names and into the story. And I would do that. And usually people would laugh a lot. But there was one at the end that just went, "I don't get it. I just don't get it." All right, you don't get it. Move along. So, people are not always going to get you. And thinking, you could at least think, well, God, you did improvisation all the way through that. You did 15 minutes improvisation. You got everybody's name in, got everybody's business in. But no, you didn't get it. All right. But it's all part and parcel of the same thing. You can't get on with everybody. Another lesson, storytelling. We always get told that storytelling is a big thing. It was very, very nearly the never-ending story. We thought it was never going to end. We could have continued. But then I thought about the idea about knocking me on the head, knocking me out, and we thought that was a good ending. And I think we did it for 10 days. I think we did. But yeah, it could have very nearly. But then I think also it's about knowing when to stop. It was about time to finish, and it did need an end. But everyone loves a story. Try and tell a story. And I think the next sort of lesson was to just give everybody else an opportunity to be seen and heard, because when we had our great big cheerleaders like Sam and Maddie and Kerry and people who were always, I think Sam and Maddie without fail, commented and shared every single post that Kimber and I did across all platforms. And like us, we're like, I'm going to write the same comment now across all the comments because I can't actually think of anything else to say. But it did mean that Sam got in front of my audience, Maddie got in front of my audience, Kimber got in front of Sam's audience, Sam got in front of Maddie's audience, Maddie got in front of Kerry's audience, Kerry got in front of mine, and all of that. And that absolutely happened. I saw one on a comment on Sam's post a couple of days ago. Someone had actually put on your post, I think, I wouldn't have known you'd done this if I hadn't seen the hashtag sell Helen sell. So I can't remember what I think your podcast, I think. But from that, I just thought that's brilliant, because that just shows that when you support other people, it's all ships raising tide, line rising, whatever that phrase is. Yeah, so it just goes to show that when you do the support, it is really good. And we were all doing that for each other. And so it was really good to see concrete examples there of people benefiting from all of that.
And we did make a point of sharing, like, anybody who did anything to do with it, we shared all of their stuff, because we thought, do you know what, we didn't expect people to jump in, and and it doesn't harm us in any way to give them a bit of our platform as well. Not that we're got huge platforms or anything, but it makes a big difference to everybody's visibility. So yeah, I think for both of us, we both enjoyed being able to do that, and I think it was a good thing.
Yeah, we look forward to other people doing videos just as much as sort of our own as well, so that we were doing mainly Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, which goes to another lesson there, that sometimes videos do not work on certain platforms. Everything died on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. Everything. Even though we tagged Maddie, we tagged Sam, so there were at least 4 of us always on LinkedIn, all of our videos. everyone shared them, everyone commented on them, and they still didn't do really well. So whether people on LinkedIn are just miserable bastards, although we're there, we're clearly not miserable bastards. I don't know, or whether LinkedIn are miserable bastards, and so they put in their algorithms, we're not pushing this out because we're miserable bastards. Perhaps there's a post there. There is a video there. Are the people behind LinkedIn algorithms miserable bastards? Yes, they are. And this is why. Shall we take a mallet to them? Yes. So there we go. That's the next video. But yeah, apart from LinkedIn, because we were going right across, and I think it was great to see everybody sort of getting something from it, even if it was abuse in some cases. But yeah, and I think also there's a lot of luck. There was a lot of luck there. We didn't know things that were going to work, you know, things that didn't, things that took lots and lots of time and effort, didn't necessarily do really well. A stupid thing with a mallet in the cab while I'm going down the road to Radio 5, you know, bit of little luck. You've got to be ready to get caught out on things. I was doing that video, you know, when I'm in radio, in Channel 5, waiting to go on Channel 5 News. It's early, and I was in front of the Jeremy Vine picture because I couldn't find a Channel 5 picture. And I was literally going, I'm going to find you, Milburn. I'm going to find you, or whoever it was. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. I was literally saying, I'm coming for you. As the door to the green room opened and the floor manager came in, and I'm doing this to the camera. So I had to explain it. So you have to be aware you're going to do these things.
I would have died. I would have died. I would have been so embarrassed.
Literally like this. And she said, you're on. And I went, okay. And then went on to talk about energy prices or whatever the fuck I was talking about. But yeah, so she went, yeah, I'll just tell you about that. And then I saw the chat coming out because the Channel 5 studios, all everything's sort of done in the same studios. And I saw a producer from Jeremy Vine, where I'd done Jeremy Vine a couple of months ago on the Jeremy Vine on Channel 5, and he just looked at this, and I said I'd really like to be back on to Jeremy Vine again. I said, but I'd like my opponent to be Anne Widdecombe. I'd really like my opponent to be Anne Widdecombe. And I said, maybe taking this on, but yeah, that's an aside, really. But who wouldn't like to see me on Jeremy Vine, one of these next to Anne Widdecombe? But anyway, that's by the by. But yeah, be prepared for anything, really. Yeah, and I think, yeah, and I've just got the last one, the videos that got the most views took the least effort. which was a hard lesson to learn, really. Although people who like them really like them, there's like a lot of likes on some of them, the actual reach. But then it is also about reaching the right people. So, you know, it could be that only reached 300 people, but it was the right people that found it funny and were thinking, that's really engaging, I'm going to go on your website. We could see from the back end of our websites that we were getting a lot of visits from the sites. The times it was for me, I'm not sure about Kimba, I'll come back to you, Kimba, but for me it was very rare, varied, it was continuous throughout the time of the visit. So I wouldn't be able to say which videos sent the most traffic to my website. I don't know if you can.
No, so I know for a fact, because I was telling you every day, I was like, I've got this many more people filling in my quiz today than I normally would. I've got this many people following me that have connections with you that hadn't before. So we didn't track the stats exactly, Maddie, but both of us every day were like, there's a clear uptick in following, connections, visits to our websites, all that kind of stuff. Yes. Okay. So I think that's enough of lessons learned. What I think what everybody's waiting for, I think what everyone is absolutely waiting for, that's the only reason they're here, is to see Helen do a sales post and tell them what they can buy from you. But do not say link in bio, because I've heard that phrase enough. Like, I might have a nervous breakdown. No. I want the details. Tell me what they can buy from you.
They can go to my website. The link isn't in the bio. They can go to my website, thecomplainingcow.co.uk. There it is.
Oh, I'll do it properly. What can they buy from you?
You can buy all sorts. You can buy the books, which I've mentioned. You can buy that from me. If you want them for Christmas presents, you need to order it today. That's Royal Mail's fault, not mine. And you can have a power hour with me. So for £99 for a very short period, I'll be putting it up in the new year. £99 as a consumer, you can pick my brains if you've got a particular really difficult, knotty issue, and I can help you put together your complaint and what to say. They would get recorded so that you don't have to take notes, but also do that with businesses. So I used to push out when I did do my self-post, a little bit, that I help people deal with complaints, but also getting their terms and conditions right. Many small businesses will say things in their terms and conditions like, we don't give refunds, that's illegal. And that we do this, so we can't do that. No. And then they get a problem, they get a complaint, and they'll get a complaint, and then they'll go, oh, how do I deal with this? Well, you've made it really difficult for yourself because you were breaking the law in your terms and conditions in the first place. So let's see how we're going to get around this, and then we'll sort out your terms and conditions. So I try and say to people, get your terms and conditions right, but also do complaint handling and customer service. And so reducing the risk to your finance and reputation, because, you know, anyone that says they don't get complaints or they won't get complaints is either naive, ignorant, or stupid, or a mixture of all of those things, because you will always get complaints, because one, mistakes happen, two, some people are dickheads, so, you know, they are going to come into your life. You know, people are liars and whatever, which is another reason why you need your strong terms and conditions watertight. So yep, so I do those power hours, and I do consultancy, so I can come in and do stuff, mystery shopping, that kind of thing. And I talk in memberships, and I talk on stage. I muck about on stage, obviously, because that's what I do, and improvise around. And I think that's all what. Oh no, and I'm also a journalist. So if you've got a good story, then let me know, and then that will get you your free PR. I would say it's usually money related stories, but I have branched out and done, you know, is that the real Father Christmas, using forensics to find the real Father Christmas last year. So I do, but I don't do the deep emotional trauma kind of stuff, because I'm not that kind of person and I won't give it justice. But if you've got a debt kind of story, side hustles, they're the ones that I've got the most contacts for. So yes, you've got a good story, come to me. I think, is that it? Is that everything I do? That's how you can work with me. It's basically contact me, really.
I have put a lot of links into the chat. So you talked about power hours, and we're going to offer power hours with the two of us.
Oh yes, I forgot that. Yes, that was meant to be a smooth transition into, and now you tell us, Kimba. That was backtrack in the recording, take it back. Here's this lovely smooth transition into Kimba. You talk about what we're going to do together.
So if you've enjoyed whatever nonsense this has been, and you would find it valuable too, Kerry's actually I think you actually put in there, do you not do PR power hours? So the power hour that will be the two of us together will be a bit more expensive, because you get two for the value of 1 hour. We're going to do it so that you can pick our brains on Helen, like PR and things to do with visibility in that respect, and me, gamification, in terms of using gamification to be more visible as well. So you can get two brains together if you want to do that. We don't have a link for that because we don't know if there's any interest. So message us if you'd like to organise that, and we will make sure that we get that all set up. I think we said
message either of us for that, if you know one of us, either of us for that.
Yeah, totally. And I'm also going to trial doing power hours, because at the moment, everything that I do is through my membership or through like one-to-one consultancy, which is like a half day plus time after that for memberships and big gamification projects. But I know there's a lot of people out there who want just to pick my brains for an hour on something like one social media campaign, or motivating themselves to do their emails, or, you know, the littler things. And so I'm going to trial them. And I'm going to trial them at the same price as Helen for the first 5 people. So for the first 5 people, it'll be £99, and I'll pop the link into the chat for that, so you can have a look as well. We've got exactly 2 minutes for questions, which I don't know how we actually made this rattle on for an hour.
£150, Gabriella. So I'm just putting how much for the two of us? 150.
Yeah. But just message one of us for sure. Yeah. And if you have any questions about like what we did, or like why we are both insane, or anything really, please do ask. I can hang around for a little bit. I know people have probably got to shoot off because we put this in the diary for an hour.
But yeah, no, we've said we can hang on if people have got lots of questions, but make us feel better. Somebody ask a question, we don't care what it is.
I think Sam's got, she's put one in there. Do you do Kartra gamification settlement guidance? So if it's, I'm guessing Kartra is membership specific, so that would be more appropriate for a half-day session than a 99 quid session, probably, just because it's a big thing. But I'll chat with you about that separately, because I need to ask you more than to get an idea of what it is you need, really.
Unmute yourself and ask a question.
Nobody,
we've questions. Oh, that's so shit, isn't it?
They're overwhelmed with our hilarity.
Yes.
I have loads of questions, but you know, it's just like when they say, "Oh, ask a question," I'm like, which one would I ask?
All of them. Ask all of them, Kerry.
I think for the start, for me, it was what was inspiring and what actually made me actually go and do a fucking video, which was quite a revelation, because I've been so bored with doing my own videos, because I was just so actually doing that and seeing how easy it was, because for me it was about responding to something, and I really liked that, like sort of, it's like when somebody else throws you a challenge, that in itself can be, you can forget all of your considerations of how it should be and everything else, because like like sort of when you're improvising, it didn't matter, because then I was like, it's upside down, I was like this, and it was fun, and so I really loved the combination of both of you, because it was just, I mean, like, you're both hilarious, but I mean, obviously Helen's hilarious, but it was just, I think it was, how can you do that normally? Because I have, like, if someone said to me, "Kerry, go and do a video like this," I'd do it. I don't have any qualms about that. But coming up with those like general ideas of things to do it, like, you obviously came up with it together, but that is kind of like of where probably I get stuck in my business, like to actually just to, because once it's like with most ADHDs, it's like I just need someone to just turn the engine and then I'm off and running, so yeah.
I think it's an interesting one. It is, or not really. I mean, it is the fact I have always done silly videos. I have always done them because I've always been silly. So and as a couple of people said, and there's a couple of comments that go, "I love your videos, Helen, you don't give a fuck." No, that's basically it. And I think it's once you have that attitude that you don't care what people are going to say and you don't care what people think, then you can loosen up. And that's when you'll just do the stupid culture thinking, well, people are going to think I'm really mad. Do I care? Nope. No. And it, those ideas, they just came each time, and quite often they came from other people. Maddie did that video. Maddie did that video, and I thought, got to reply to that. Well, I wouldn't have had ideas like that had I not. And so when I used to do my rants every day, it was just taking something random when people didn't say please and thank you. Let's go and do a rant about that. And I'll tell you now, you do a rant about people not having manners, guaranteed to be really popular and get lots of engagement. People really go into it. So I regularly, every few months, will do something on manners because it'll be popular. But it is something I just take a rant, and then you can turn it into something that's applicable to you. So something that's annoys you and how you've dealt with it. And then you can put the funny spin on it. But that's the kind of thing that Kimba and I might be able to do in a power hour together, because we will come up with games and ideas, and we would come up with, give me 5 minutes and I'll probably give you a load of ideas, because that's the kind of thing I do. And I'll probably come up with loads of, "Oh God, I can't do that and I can't do that." And they'll go, "Yes, you can. Look what I did." I'm there on camera going, "I need a wee." I mean, how many people on TikTok are going, "I need a wee"? But
you know what? I actually missed that until Sam pointed it out on this session that you said, "Oh, I need a wee" at the end of that video. I've watched that video so many times. I didn't notice it. I thought it was just gobbledygook at the end of the, sometimes like the subtitles.
Well, it is gobbledygook.
And then I watched it back with all of you just now, and I was like, Oh my God, she does say she needs a wee. I didn't spot it.
Jo said, I need a wee wee, I
She
need a
does
wee
say
wee.
it quietly, but that's even better, the fact that you say it quietly, because it's almost like you just sort of subtly kind of, I know, God, I need a wee. You know, that is like,
It was there in the subtitles.
You know.
It's there. I need a wee wee. You know, and be prepared for stuff. The dog gets in. I think he got in at least 2 videos, didn't he? And when I say wee wee, he's doing a shake. That's his collar shaking. He goes shake, 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 and I go, I need a wee wee. And I thought, well, that's quite. I couldn't have planned that. That sound effect. So yes, I have a think maybe about a joint parallel with Kimba and I, because we could probably come up with enough content for you for the next 6 months.
I don't have problems coming up with content ideas. I have problems with having enough time to do them all, because I have too many ideas, and that's my problem.
Yes, Kimba and I now have a very, very long list of things we need to do, because we haven't done them because we were doing silly videos.
Oh my God, it took so much of my life. So messaging like, I don't know, I think we have to stop. I have things to do. Like, we need to stop doing
Christmas
videos.
is coming, people. We've got to get off.
You got any other questions? But thank you for that. I probably rambled on there. Sorry,
No,
but
I think
I like rambling.
I loved it, and I had some ideas to join in. My difficulty is because my area of work is so serious. I do safeguarding. That it's like, how do I kind of get some of that stuff in there without people
I would say that you know, having been in children's services for a long time, I don't think you can bring humour into that. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but even if it doesn't have to be, because I do safeguarding and neurodiversity, there are some things I can be a bit more jokey about. But it's even just that kind of
neurodiversity, you absolutely certainly can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't touch it with the safeguarding.
No, for sure. But I was just, because I was watching it with interest, and like I said, I had some ideas. I was like, I'm not sure I can just suddenly put this random taking the piss video up in the middle of all my stuff.
Yeah, you can.
I think maybe you need to make yourself some guidelines. So that's something that, like, for a long time I've given that advice to other people as well, as like, give yourself rules about what you can and can't post, and then as long as it fits within those guidelines, it should be fine. But you can always, you know, and obviously it's in hindsight now, everyone's Einstein in hindsight, but you could always have done a little intro saying that, you know, this is part of a different thing, and that just like outline why you're doing it, and just be very clear about it, because you know better than anyone else what is acceptable and what is not. It's just like, you know, I say the same thing to parents, like, you know, don't show pictures with your kids' faces on, but you can show pictures of their wellies, you know, stuff like that. Like, make your own guidelines for what you're safe with and what you're happy doing, so that you can be a bit more experimental and a bit more fun, because they are so serious and boring, there are a certain amount of people who will appreciate it so much more, because the whole industry is really boring.
When I'm doing training, we do end up having a laugh, and it's like, you can't just you know, what does trauma do if it doesn't give you a really warped sense of humor, right? It's like,
that's a post on its own. That's a post.
Yeah, I think,
like,
and I think
so relatable. It's so relatable.
I think what I was watching as well was kind of how you were connecting with each other, and just trying to think about, is there a way that could work in a more serious fashion?
Absolutely, because I still do, because my background is in children's services. I still share a lot of stuff about and I share serious posts, and I put my comment on it, and I can go into one on them. So you can definitely do serious and mucking about, because sometimes when you're mucking about all the time, when you're suddenly serious, people go, fuck, I need to listen to her, and Helen doesn't do serious.
It's the opposite for me. I'm always quite straight on my posts, and I was being very different, and people, I got a lot of unexpected views and attention.
And I think, you know, that's when we sort of go back to back being the novel and being different. People, if you are different, I'm always mucking about. And I think so when it gets to safeguarding, I think when I was saying you've got to be very careful about the safeguarding, like, get it, you've got to be so serious. I'm talking about when you're talking about current issues and processes and policies. You're talking about that, you absolutely can't. But you certainly can. You can. I think, as Kimba was saying, you know, you can have the wellies. How you can keep your children safe. That you can do with humour. That you can definitely do humour. And I think somebody's just put, you can use your cat. Absolutely, use your cat as if they were a child. Put wellies on the cat. You know, put a cat on the cat.
Don't put wellies on the cat. Don't do that.
Well, he's on the
cat
cat.
will scratch you. My cat would have my eye out if I tried to put clothes on her.
But there are ways you can give the cat a voice. The cat is going to say, "Oh, you need to do this to keep yourself safe." You know, you can do all that kind of stuff. And if you don't feel happy doing your voices, employ me. I do voices, and I've got a storytelling channel which sort of died a death really, but it's there on YouTube. But on TikTok, you've got the voice thingy that you can just say all your normal words, and they'll put a voice thing on it. So I do think putting voices on things is. But then I'm a storyteller, so I would say that. I do think putting voices to things gets.
I think just that thing of going a bit opposite to what I normally do, and occasionally, like I put occasional stuff out. It's kind of fun but a bit serious still, rather than totally silly. But it's just got me. I'm saying, like, I appreciate this. Got me thinking about doing things a little bit differently occasionally.
You absolutely can, because I do. You know, I just consumer rights and talking about customer service. It's not the most fun stuff. It is very boring. And I say to people, talking about customer service, paying to find out about customer service, finding out how you can, improve your customer service. It is very boring. It's not like doing marketing and social media. People don't want to pay for it because it is boring. So, but when I talk about it, so I've got to talk about it in some funny way. So if I'm talking about saving money, it's like, well, it's the thought that counts. Unless it's soap on a rope, then it's not any thought. It's the little one-liners that you can just throw in that I think people engage people, and it's just that. So hopefully some of our videos, although I think this one was an extreme, probably Kim and I are an extreme. You look at others, you'll see discovering whom you're in a lot.
I definitely had FOMO because I had ideas. I was like, I can't just jump on this one right now. Do you know what I mean? Because like my own online presence isn't strong enough, I don't think, yet to suddenly go completely correct. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is she doing? I still need, I've got a lot of work to do to build up my presence enough to cope with me doing something totally random without it just looking like she's a complete nutcase and doesn't know what she's talking about.
I don't know. What do you think about that, Kimba? Because I think you can be doing all different things, but I suppose it is difficult getting a mixed messages. But then I do both. I do consumer side and customer service, and it can be difficult when you're doing the two.
That's what I'm saying. I need to have a lot more followers first, knowing that I'm jumping rather than going really mixed message.
Just getting random followers.
Right,
I think if anything, actually having fewer followers is a good time to experiment.
Yes.
You'll get less flack. You get less crap. You can try things out, see if they hit, see if they don't hit. Also, like Instagram at the minute, they're trialing, aren't they? Being able to try your reels out on non-followers, so you can trial things out and will not affect your audience. So that would be perfect for you trying this. I don't know why I keep doing this. This hand motion has appeared a lot in this webinar, and I don't know where it's come from.
That's not me. I didn't give you that one.
No, these are yours. These are yours.
That one's mine, and that one. And not one, but 2 videos. And then she did 3 and then 4. Did you not, Sam?
Okay, right. I think we've taken up enough of everybody's time. I think with our ridiculousness. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming along. Thank you for getting involved, for taking part, and for being all on board with our nonsense. We really appreciate all of you.
And do get in touch if you've got any questions that you didn't want to ask here. And come and buy from me. So come and work with me.
Go and do loads of sales posts now. I hope you do. Loads of sales posts now. Now that you're not under like this horrible thing where you are just part of this fun but can't actually sell. Now you can sell loads on the lead up to Christmas.
Yeah, another thing, you have to be prepared if you're going to start something like this. I actually had a pinned post that wasn't how to work with me, but it was talking about, because it was the latest book, it was me talking about the PR book and reading out reviews and stuff. I was like, shit, I need to take that one off, because although it wasn't working with me, I thought it's slightly a sales pitch and it's pinned. So at day 2, I think I removed that.
Yeah, go buy from Helen. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.